All right, fired up, folks. Better late than never, I guess. That's what they say. But we got Cornell Kevin here. We are live. This is BEG Wrestling. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. My audio's all jacked up. Me and Kevin, I'm hearing myself. Everything that I'm saying is very distracting. So it'll be a shorter show tonight. Join us in the comments. Previewing Iowa, Oklahoma State. There's also Iowa State, Missouri. Penn State has Princeton. And Kevin, how you doing, man?
I'm all right, Zach. How you doing, buddy?
Frankly, I'm frustrated and angry right now. But
yeah. I hear you, man.
That's probably how some of these teams are
can.
feeling right now going into this weekend. Iowa, maybe specifically, but let's go right to it, man. We got the oh my goodness, look at that, all jacked up. There it is, up on the screen, the preview that we're going to be talking about. Kevin, I'll try to load some of the stuff that you sent as we go. Folks, if the audio is jacked up, let us know in the comments.
Let us know how bad.
Are you hearing me, Kevin?
Yeah, I can hear you perfect.
All right, man. Why don't we start first and foremost? Let's give us your predictions. By the way, folks, a couple programming notes. Almost forgot. The Open Mat Line show is moving to Saturdays by popular demand. Saturday evenings instead of Fridays. That'll happen this Saturday. In 2 days, first and foremost, we'll be able to talk, maybe live reaction from this dual meet. Along with that, this Saturday we have a very special thing that we're going to be talking about. Is you see in the bottom in the corner, Wrestle Madness. We got a special offer that we're going to be raffling off this Saturday during the show live. So you want to make sure it's regarding the NCAA championship. So you want to make sure you join us Saturday live. That's when the Open Mat Line show is moving to. And I'll get this
Very
audio
cool.
figured out before then because I hear everything I'm saying. It is so annoying. Kevin, go sign up at Wrestle Madness. Let's talk about your picks for this dual meet. I'm not very proud of what I did, my performance in the last big Wrestle Madness, Penn State, Ohio State. I think I got last, but you did pretty well. My dad did well. Go ahead.
I think this is your Zach. I don't know what it is. I have a gut feeling that you're just going to smoke everyone this week. I'm feeling it for you.
Wow. Well, I guess I'll have to reveal my picks. Are you going to reveal your picks?
Yeah.
All right.
I might have like one little sneaky slip up, that I don't reveal, but I'll reveal it. What the heck?
I'm almost embarrassed, but all right, then let's start at 125, Kevin. Give us your picks.
Yeah.
I'm going to sign in.
I like Spratley in this by decision. I think that, he's been much more consistent than Peterson. And, Iowa's just kind of been all over the place lately. I think David Taylor's going to have him attacking more. He probably wasn't too thrilled about the whole Ventresca match, lack of attacks. But when he did attack, he did get in. So I just think Spratley is going to win probably by like 4 or 5 points, to be honest with you.
Spratley by 4 or 5. That's exactly what I have. I'll tell you this. I have Oklahoma State, Iowa, the final score, 16-15. But
Really?
I also agree with you. Yeah.
Wait till you hear what I got,
man. You want to
man.
win Madness, Kevin, you got to do a little.
Dude, wait till you hear what
box.
I got. I got like 29-6 or something like that. It's crazy. Like, not even close.
I have 16-15. Okay. That means we got some disagreements coming up here. Let's go to 133. Ayala, Jax, Forrest, and I actually have my 133 rankings I'm going to put up on the screen here as well. One of the few things that I do have prepared. But who you going with this, Kevin? And then I'll give you mine. We'll flash the 133 rankings.
Yeah, so I'm going with Jax. It's going to be like who throws the better slide bys. I think that Jax is going to win, but it's going to be very close. If you look at Ayala the past month, he's had, he lost to Blaze, but not by a lot, like 4-2. He lost to Davino, but not by a lot. He he's ever since the Fugit match, he's been on. So I do think Jax is still going to win, but I think that Drake is going to hang in there pretty tough. But I like Jax by, I'd say, 2 points.
Okay. Now, it's funny. We just saw Seidel wrestle Jax. He kept his left arm back. Now, traditionally, isn't that the defense for Ayala against Ayala as well for his slide by?
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to just lunge at him out of the tie up, You lunge at him with tie up, that's when he's just going to throw it your way. But it seems like everybody knows it's coming now,
So
right?
both these wrestlers sure have their left arms tied behind their back for this dual meet.
That and not lunging. I think that it's definitely any scrambling is going to go to Jax with this, right?
I agree.
I mean, by far, the only thing I could see is maybe Ayala catching him when he's, Jax just kind of goes to his back whenever he wants, but he generally gets away with that. He's so quick, he gets in and out fast. Um, I just think I could see like I don't know, 7-5 match. I don't think Jax is capable of doing like having many low scoring matches.
I know. That's exactly why I hate to say it, but I'm going Jax Forest by major. I know that's crazy because I was just saying it's also a potential upset alert for Jax coming off that win versus Seidel. But while we're on the topic, Kevin, let's go to it. My 133 rankings. I want to hear what you disagree with. This is way out of line with what Internet, Flow, anyone else has. Number one, I still have Jax Forest. People are saying they're not sure how he's going to bode in the NCAAs. I think the Seidel mess was a test. I think there were moments in that match that he could certainly improve on. And that's why I still have him number one. Number two, Marcus Blaze. Then I have Seidel. Then I have Davino. Lucas Bird, defending champ, at 5. Evan Frost, 6. Kyler Larkin, 7. Ayala, 8. Knox. And then rounding out top 10, Dom Serrano. Is this a crazy list, Kevin?
Now, is this your ranking list or your prediction list?
This is who I predict. This is how I think it'll finish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Zach, nothing's too crazy at this weight because anybody who pretends that they know what's going to happen is full of it. You can't possibly know what's going to happen. I agree with you as far as Bird being down where he is. I don't think he has the offense to compete with these guys. I know it might be disrespectful. He's the defending champ. He's undefeated this year, but you know what? I just don't think he has the offense to keep up with these guys. I personally think that Seidel might finish ahead of Blaze.
I thought about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought about going with Jax, Seidel 1-2, but then I thought, I don't know, Blaze coming off that one against Davino would be tough. Larry in the comments says the Bird disrespect is getting disgusting. I agree. I know.
Larry.
I mean, if Lucas Bird, have you ever had a defending national champ come in to NCAAs with such a chip on his shoulder, such an underdog? I mean, who's the last time? Maybe Figueroa would be the last time after his championship?
How about Antrell Taylor's the same kind of deal as Bird, I feel like, where he's a defending champ, but he's got all these 2-1 matches and people are not. The thing is it's not like I don't think that these guys can win a title. It's that I don't think that they can go from the second match on. They're going to have these tough matches, both weights, 157, 133. I don't think they can win the way that they've been winning that many matches in a row against this quality of competition. That is what I think is different. I think it's so deep at 57 and 33 that Antrell Taylor and Bird are going to have to do something different in order to win the title again this year, because it's just not going to fly, these tiebreaker matches, over and over, waiting and getting the takedown. And at the end, these guys are both clutch, but that's just my opinion on it.
I'll say this. If either of them repeat this year, it will be very impressive. And neither of them are the favorite.
Yeah, and I think that I'm interested to see Kyler Larkin, right? I know he was injured. Um, I don't know how serious the injury was. He came back. He had kind of a so-so match, but he did win. But when you're looking at this, really, if someone was like, you got to you pick four guys, and you can pick four guys. One of them has to win. I'm going with your top four guys there. One of those four guys is going to win. I'm not going to include Bird. I'm not going to include Frost, Larkin, Ayala, but it's one of those four guys. And the safe bet is Blaze. The safe bet is like who just has that edge and is super smart and gets. I just feel like he has the edge, but it's tough to say, man.
You say that, and I tend to agree. However, to me, the safe bet is Jack's Forest, right? He has shown it at the world level and delivered. I know this is his first time in NCAAs, but mentally, he's going to go into the same space that he was in at Worlds.
Here's the thing. Like when I saw, and I know people keep saying this, but Seidel took him down three times. I can't picture anybody taking Blaze down three times in a match. I understand that Jax has a much more explosive offense than Blaze, right? But I think that Blaze's style, which is not very exciting to me at all, but I think that that is better suited to get through this weight class than Jax is. But I could totally be wrong because honestly, I'm just going to say it. I don't know. I have no clue with this weight, man. It's the first weight in a long time where I just don't have a strong opinion on who
Who's
will
ranked
win.
in the top 8 that's not going to AA?
On your list or
Yeah,
just
on
in gen
mine.
and
Or really
on
a
your
big name
list,
in general.
um, man, I feel like because of the last month, Ayala is gonna AA. Tyler Knox AA'd last year. I don't see it happening. And it's not that he's not as good as he was last year. It's just the talent that's come in is just ridiculous. Um, whew, Frost has been inconsistent at times. So maybe him, but
How about, let me say this. Lucas Bird loses to one of these young bucks semi early on. What motivation does he have to for a fifth place, third place? I could see him losing motivation, and maybe Lucas Bird not even AAing, pulling off in
yeah,
Figueroa. Right there, you go.
yeah. I mean, he's let's see, Bird has gotten fifth. He was a blood rounder, and then first. It's funny you say that, Zach, because I feel the same way about Antrell. Like
Both of
Antrell,
them.
if he doesn't, if he gets bumped, how does he mentally come back and get third? It's a hard thing to do no matter who you are, right? Um, at the same time, it's like both these guys have a chance to be four-time All-Americans, and not Antrell this year, but if he he's already two-time All-American. So it just depends on how important that is, and the team concept with Antrell Taylor, man. Antrell Taylor seems like a really good dude, and I imagine that he would still wrestle hard for his team, Nebraska, who's going to be in the mix for a team trophy. Bird, I don't know. I hear things about Bird that I don't know. Less like I agree more with Bird than Bird not being able to go back and get third or AA than I do Taylor, I guess.
Hmm. Bird still has to win the Big Tens to get the number 1 seed. Fair point by Larry. I mean, we're going to find out a lot. This is going to be a lot of shakeup here after the Big Tens.
Bird is not going to win Big Tens, man. I'm going to cross him off that unbeaten list.
Yeah, and then and then he'll be even more likely, but to not AA. But we'll move on. Let's get back to the big dual meet this weekend, Iowa, Oklahoma State. Let's go to 141. Bailey's out. Just saw that. So it's Cale Peterson going up against Vega. Now, I might have to adjust that pick. I only had Vega by decision, but now Cale Peterson, I might have to bump it up to a major. Kevin, what do you think?
Yeah. Yeah. I know Vega, people are giving him crap about not bonusing people except for Hardy, but he has bonused 4 of his last 5 opponents, and things seem to be clicking for him. So absolutely, I think that not only is it going to be a major, but if things get really snowballing, he could possibly tech. But I think a major is the safe pick here.
Safe pick. By the way, what are you hearing about Bird, Kevin? You mentioned something kind of suspiciously over there, and also we didn't mention Van D. I had Van D at 11 in my rankings. He was just outside, but yeah, they're in Nebraska. Van D is a threat as well. But are you hearing stuff, Kevin? What's going on?
Well, 2 things real quick with Van D. Van D is the guy that nobody really is excited to wrestle at NCAAs. He has the potential to knock off anyone. He won't. I don't see him winning 3 solid matches in a row like that on the champion side of the bracket, but he can do that. Bird, and again, I'm always careful what I say when I don't know for sure, so take with a grain of salt. But I hear that he's just kind of like his own guy, like he's not like a team oriented, like, that he kind of
Well, he's
just
in
does his own thing.
love.
Like he's not a really like loved guy in the locker room.
Well, he's in love. Maybe
Yeah.
he's not so worried about being a mentor. He's like, was it Brett Favre says, "Not my job to coach up Aaron Rodgers.
yeah.
That's your job."
Yeah. And maybe some of that has to come with, this is his 3, 4, 5, 6, his 7th year. But there's no excuse. If this is true, and again, I don't know. If it is true, there's no excuse to, be that way. But, I imagine that it's all or nothing for him. I figure if he's not going to get first, he's not going to podium. I agree with you 100% on that.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's going to get first. So therefore, there's your answer. I don't think he's going to All-American this year.
We just made it official. BG is predicting.
We just figured it out.
Not the AA. That's bold. That is a bold prediction here. Coming out
Not
of left
because he
field
doesn't
live.
have the talent to, but because he won't have the desire to after he loses.
That's why, especially after you lose to a young buck, and then you've got to go probably beat another one. They're hungry.
Oh yeah, right. they want to get that AA. I mean, they'll still want those young guys. That it still is a big deal to them, right?
All right, we'll move on. I'm still hearing myself echo. It's affecting my speech, and I hate the sound of my voice. I can't believe you guys like it. But moving on, Ryder blocks Swiderski 149. Is Swiderski healthy? Is he wrestling? I'm going to tell you right now. Upset alert. I went Ryder block on this one, Kevin.
If Swiderski's wrestling, I really like Swiderski. And I think not only that, but I think that Swiderski could be a problem for people at NCAAs. I think that he had a slow start. He's always had the talent. He's putting things together. David Taylor loves him. He's had his back on several different occasions, which does mean something. And he's a tough. I like Swiderski. Is he going to wrestle? Is he healthy? Not a wrestler. If you could maybe chime in on that. Instead of Zach's voice. I knew that was coming. I almost said it myself, but I was like,
terrible,
I'm not gonna say
terrible voice. But listen.
But yeah, it's Swiderski wrestling.
David Taylor's not the only person who likes Swiderski. Leader in the room, okay? All the other wrestlers like Swiderski. If he wrestles, I'm actually just kind of betting he doesn't wrestle. But if he does wrestle, I might have to swap that back over to Swiderski. Moving on, 157.
Real quick, he is the only, besides the Bassett match, he's the only one to take Jackson Joy down this year, is Swiderski. And he gave Jackson Joy his closest match. Outside of that, Jackson Joy's closest match is like a 5-point win, like he hasn't had, he's got 8 top 10 wins, so it's not like he's been wrestling anybody, but Swiderski's the real deal.
That's the same Jackson Joy that the short just came out that said it's 50-50 between him and Van Ness, right? You said that, Kevin?
I believe that, yeah.
Okay. So
I didn't up until a couple weeks ago. Now I'm just, when I saw him in person, and I just really like what he's doing, man. So yeah,
Swiderski,
that's a,
sneaky AA guy there at 149, maybe.
I think he could finish top 5, maybe top 4.
Mm. We're gonna have a full fantasy breakdown after the Big Ten championships, getting ready for NCAAs, folks. Along with that, join us Saturday Night Live. We got a special little treat for you from Wrestle Madness. Exclusive, limited opportunities, only limited spaces available. Anyway, let's go on 157. Is Jordan Williams what? I don't think he's wrestling. Is it Voinovich going up against Rabadou, Kevin?
I believe it's going to be Voinovich. I very much believe that. And um, Voinovich, he generally doesn't get bonused. I think he's been bonused twice in his whole career, but one of those bonuses was a big one to Rabidou at the beginning of the year. So, with that being said, no disrespect at all to Rabidou, but he's kind of the offense is kind of uh, it's been down a little bit compared to what it
Stale.
was, right? I mean, so my pick on this would be Rabidou by decision, um, but by like 5 points, I'd think, like a a 6 to
Unreal.
1, 7-2 match.
I also have Roberto by decision. So that means we're pretty much in line up to this point, right?
Yeah, I mean, I have all
And you got,
Oklahoma State so far.
yeah. No, I went rider block here at
Oh,
149, but then you went
which is
Swiderski.
interesting, Zach, because Tom loves starting out at 125. This is not a situation where I think that that's something he's going to want to do because
Hmm.
I mean, it could just suck the life out of them right away. I mean, I not to go ahead, but I'm picking Lockett too. So I'm picking the first 6. So you could be down 19-20 nothing, and then you're just in the water. So you don't want to start out 125
I
if you're
love that you're
Brands.
picking Lockett. I love that. That's where I'm going to gain points. I'm going Caliendo to decision. He's coming back. He's angry, and he's got something to prove. And this Lockett, dude, he got a last-second takedown win. Caliendo is a workhorse, dude. Lockett,
He's got a
Lockett's
mean
due.
toe hold.
Lockett's due for a loss. I'm calling it right now. Caliendo by decision. It's official in my Madness picks. Go join. Go sign up. Y'all beat up on me 2 weeks ago, but
I was going to pick Caliendo until I saw Blaze beat him the way he did. I don't know about you, Zach, but I didn't think that match was that necessarily close between
no.
Blaze.
But I think that
In
was more
score,
a
it was,
testament to
but
Blaze than it was.
yeah, yeah, no, and for whatever reason, I think Lockett's going to be up again for this match. And Lockett, when Lockett wrestled Caliendo the first time, that was the best I've ever seen Lockett wrestle any match, any style. That was the best I've ever seen him. He was doing some wild stuff, and I I just think that man, I think I got Lockett. I
He's
think
young.
it's going to be like a 7-5, 7-5, 7-4.
I got Caliendo decision. Caliendo, the senior. This is going out. Last chance. Lockett's going to come in like I feel right now. You know, freshmen, they are way up and down. This is about the worst version of BEG, Zach. You guys are going to get, folks. I'm getting echoing in my ears. I'm grumpy. I got
Dude, you
kids running
sound
around.
fine, man. Everything's all good. Just so you know. And I if it wasn't, I would just kind of nod and go along with it. But it's all
Okay.
good.
Well, that's what I'm doing. But Lockett, you never know. And you go up against a dog like Caliendo. If you're not 100%, you can get caught off guard. Moving on, 174, Kennedy and Facundo. All right, I am going Kennedy, big game guy. He's delivered in so many big moments. I mean, the other week was the first time that he didn't in how long? Our former BEG Dog of the Year. I'm going Kennedy decision. Your thoughts, Kevin?
This is going to be one of those 4-1 sudden victory or a tiebreaker. But I'm going Kennedy. Only because I just can't. I don't see yet Facundo finishing shots consistently. He can get in on anyone, but he's just not finishing them. If he ever could, wow, because he gets in and he's got a great defense. But yeah, I just think that Patrick Kennedy will grind out the win.
I
But
agree.
sudden victory or tiebreaker, I think.
I agree on that too. Moving on. 184 Zach Ryder, we expect going up against, is it Angelo? I don't know. I don't know at this point. He's not in the probables. We expect Gabe Arnold if that's the case. Either way, I think Gabe Arnold pulls it off. This is another moving pick that I make. This is what's going to separate me and help me win madness in this.
Yeah, this is my only other Iowa pick besides Kennedy. I I have a weird feeling that we're going to see Ferrari, even though he isn't in the he wasn't in the projected lineup, and um, I know people put a lot of weight into that, but Brands doesn't care about the projected lineup. As far as we know, that's just repeated from the last meet, and it just doesn't. And I don't know if Zach Ryder's going. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what makes this pick so tough is we have no clue who's going from either team. And that seems to be a common thing this year. So because of that, because Iowa has two pretty, good guys, and I feel like Oklahoma State has one, that's basically what I'm putting my pick on Iowa.
Mm.
I think that Iowa gets the decision. Uh, Gabe Arnold, oh my gosh. If he could talk about guys that if they could get takedowns, right? Um, wow.
Yeah, he's not the only one at Iowa. I really hope to see Angelo back. I would be so excited if I see Angelo run out on that mat and
Yeah.
be healthy. Now I'm seeing rumors that he might medical redshirt. Is that even a possibility, Kevin?
I don't think that's possible because I think he wrestled after I can tell you in 1 second. I think he wrestled after January 1st. Yeah, he cannot medical redshirt. He wrestled on January 9th and January 16th, which makes that absolute no-go on that.
Don't
So
believe
if you
everything
were
you read on
him,
X, folks.
yeah, if people don't understand the rules, they love to throw that medical out. And just so everybody knows, there's three main things. One, you got to, you have to actually have an injury, right? Which I'll tell you what, guys don't get denied for that part. All right, they're not telling a guy he's not hurt. Second, you're supposed to have only wrestled a third or less of the team's scheduled matches. What the heck does that mean? Does that include tournaments? Does it not? That's a big gray area. People don't get denied on that either. But the one that they are so strict on, and I've seen guys apply for it on January 3rd and not get it, is you cannot wrestle after January 1st. They will not give you that medical red shirt. So if you're Ferrari at this point, he was itching to go last year, right? I mean, he wanted to go. Now this year, this is your freshman year, no matter what, whether you wrestle or not. So unless it's something that's so significant that's going to keep you out like next year, because he doesn't care about freestyle. So unless it's something that significant, he is going to go out there and wrestle in the postseason. And because he doesn't wrestle freestyle, I don't think he cares if he further damages whatever injury he has. Uh,
That's what it really comes down to. If he goes out and wrestles, is there any risk of injuring yourself more? If not, you got to go. You got to go out of here and get some mat time.
yeah, Zach. And what better way for Iowa to get some kind of oomph in their go, man? Because it has just been they need the guy who's going to be the face of their franchise for the next few years. They need him right now
Well, he
to
is
get
that
out
guy.
there and give the fans something. And I think it's if there's any possibility that he can wrestle, he's going to go, especially since I don't think Zach Ryder's going to wrestle. So this might be a good match for Angelo to go out there and he's going to get someone that's kind of, and Iowa absolutely needs him if they even have a prayer at winning this duel.
I agree. Larry agrees. I thought that was going to be a sneaky pick for me. Apparently not. Joe in the comments says Angelo's transferring. No, he better not.
No,
He better not. Moving on.
he's
So
not.
that
He's
would
not going to
mean
transfer.
potentially Gabe Arnold goes up to 197 to face Cody Merrill, and it's not going to be Harvey Ludington. I should have taken him out. My graphics, long story. You guys don't care. Had to update all my graphics. Lost everything today. But not Ludington. It's going to be Arnold or Brody Sampson going up against Cody Merrill. I have Merrill decision here, and I expect it to be Gabe Arnold. Kevin.
Man, I can just say if it's Gabe Arnold and Merrill, that's when I go and take a bathroom break, or I go and I don't know, rearrange my sock drawer if I got to do that, or maybe I don't know, just kind of look out at the snow. And dude, that match,
4-1 sudden
there's no
victory.
takedown going on in that match. There's not going to be a takedown.
Right out.
You can
Okay.
you can just bet anything on that. You go through the matches that these guys have had. It's unbelievable how many 2-1, 1-0 matches these two have had. And there might not be two wrestlers in the NCAA right now that are like more likely not to score takedowns, but have a chance at win than these two. And if they wrestle each other, yeah, it's not going to be too exciting.
Okay, so that means hopefully they don't start at 125. Hopefully Tom's smarter than that, because you'd hate for that to, you go take a long bathroom break, then you miss a start of 285. Ben Keeter, Connor Doucette. I got Ben Keeter on the upset alert, baby. That's what I'm saying. Decision Ben Keeter. Iowa loses by a point.
So is Ben Keeter, have we gotten to that point where Ben Keeter winning is an upset? It probably, Zach. You're probably right. I mean, I'll tell you what, after losing 10, I know Gadiali has been wrestling good, but that 10-0 loss by Keeter was probably just the most. I
Another
kind of
one.
just was like, after I saw
expect
that.
a bounce back. Yeah. You can't sell them at the bottom. You know what I mean? This is when you buy the stock. No one's expecting him. This is where I get that sneaky win on Madness, and I take home a championship.
I think that Keeter's year has just been so awful when you look at it as a whole. I mean, he beat Coy Hopke. He beat Braxton Amos in sudden victory. Outside of that, I don't really, he lost to Cole Marasola. That's a match that nobody thought he'd lose or he shouldn't lose. Bastida almost majored him. Gadiali destroyed him. Feldman beat him. He's not winning any, and he's not winning matches that, you would like to see him win if you think that he's progressing at all or even staying where he was. So, yeah, I think that Doucette wins. I think that's not a very exciting match either. Low scoring, but yeah, I like Oklahoma State to win 8 out of 10. It's crazy, Zach, because when they wrestled last time, this is a totally different dual meet with totally different guys in it.
Yeah.
Than when they wrestled at National Duels. It was an 18-16 final, and really it was 18-10 going into heavyweight, and Iowa forfeited, making it 18-16. But I mean, you have Keeter now. You don't have Dean. Angelo, we don't probably not, but who knows? And then the two Little Rock guys. I mean, that was Vega's closest match this year. He was
You
in
don't get either
overtime
of them.
with his leg up in the air, and and now that's not even. We don't even know if he's the best guy to put in against Vega after that, which is crazy. And then you got Jax. You had Ayala back then, who was not wrestling good at all. He beat Ronnie in overtime, and now you got Ayala wrestling good, but then they got Jax now. So, yeah, it's kind of crazy. And I will say that, I don't know, man. I just wonder about, not to go off topic, but national duels. I wonder what effect that had on guys, because like Ohio State is beat up. Now they could be beat up from other duels or practice, and maybe that is nothing, right? But yeah, it just seems like there's so many injuries this year and it sucks.
It's a great question. First year with the national duels. We'll see if there are implications going into the NCAAs and Big Tens. But Christian in the comments says Ben Keeter's downfall needs to be studied. I think I have to agree with that because
Yeah, that's a good one.
I mean, I watched a YouTube documentary with how he was he's the greatest Iowa athlete of all time. And for him to just not be excelling at something, wrestling or football at this point, maybe
It's
it should be
crazy,
studied.
Zach. I mean, this guy was such a young U20 world champion. So young when he won U20 worlds. And then even when he went back to U20s, he wrestled the Iranian monster there, and he nearly beat him. And I was so impressed with that match. And then and then I don't know, man. It's like he's half in, I don't know. I don't know what the deal is with him.
I'll say
Who
this.
knows what goes on? There's so much in these kids' heads.
Yeah, so much going on. It's unbelievable. I mean, I have a hard time even getting a show together, and this is just talking. Could you imagine if I had to wrestle? I mean, my goodness.
No.
But anyway, this is the last chance for these guys to kind of get it right before we kind of start postseason Big Tens and NCAAs. And so it's tuning up time. Time to refine, and it's time to turn it up. Gotti Ali's turned it up there at heavyweight, but that's not the only dual meet that's going to be fun this weekend. Kevin, I'm going to put up Missouri going up against Iowa State, and there's a couple fun matchups I hope to see. 157, Teague Travis, Vinny Zerbin, 174, Kim Steed, Gaetan, and 184, maybe another refinement match here. McAnally at 184 going up against Isaac Dean. Anything you want to touch on here?
I'd love to just see McAnally just go out there and just start to go on the mat and realize that he's the man and just go out there and dominate like he's the man, because I feel like we have yet to see that from him. Um, the way he wrestled last year, I'm just shocked that we haven't seen him have confidence in his offense to go out and do that when he was just so close to knocking off, Parker and Carter, and it's crazy to me. Um, but that weight class to me this year will forever be the 4-1 SV weight class, and I think that's exactly what's going to happen here. Um, Cam Steed, he's an interesting one because he really he was solid last year, but you don't really hear a lot of him this year. Um, Teague Travis and Zerbin, I like Zerbin. I love Zerbin. Uh, Teague Travis is tough, but I think Zerbin's going to win that one. But yeah,
That's
it's got some
Sinclair.
solid. What's that? What'd you say?
Yeah. That's supposed to be
Oh,
Sinclair.
geez, what are we doing? Yeah.
Unbelievable. Christian in the comments. Anyway, here's not a wrestler. One thing to note here, OSU wrestled their worst at the end of the season. And Big 12s, I think he meant Big 10s if he's talking about Ohio State, and then did great at the NCAAs. That is also something to think about. Penn State traditionally doesn't perform their best at Big 10s, right? We always see that every year.
Yeah,
they kind of underperform Big 10s, and then they overperform at NCAAs.
They're not there to that's not their goal, it seems like. And you know what? For years we saw Nebraska do this. Nebraska was awesome at CKLV. Then they couldn't put it together at all at the end of the year until last year. Then they really put it together. Oklahoma State last year was remember how many what they did at CKLV last year, Oklahoma State? They almost broke the scoring record. They had 190 points. All 10 guys finished top 3. It was crazy. It's kind of strange if you look at it because these guys are wrestling half the matches that they used to wrestle. Yet it seems so very,
Rolling.
It's just they can only be on for a certain amount of time, or they can't be on the whole time, even though they're wrestling half the matches. And who am I? And these guys are D1 wrestlers, and I'm just curious on the why. I'm not saying degrading them or anything. I'm just saying why. What? Yeah. What's going on? What's up?
Yeah, it's a culture problem. We got to fix that. We got to make more incentive for wrestlers to wrestle. It's like in the NBA right now, it's just a a problem with the fact that teams are incentivized. It just factually makes sense for teams in the NBA to tank. It's also factual
Yeah.
sense that a tanking team is a bad product. That's why the NBA has to restructure. They got to figure something out. Something's broke there. But the same kind of goes in wrestling. Like right now, these guys are not incentivized to wrestle these matches. The more I think about it, the more I'm on my dad's train of they just
100%
get
with
credit
Wayne
for
on
wins.
this.
That's it. Like we got to
Wayne,
change
that's the,
the incentive.
yeah,
Bro,
100%, Zach. And yeah, it's, I was actually thinking, I got really going wild the other night in my head. I was thinking, I hate non-takedown matches so much. It is, I get so angry to the point where I don't even want to see anybody rewarded with a win after it. If you can't, if there's no takedown, nobody gets the win.
that's
It's
what
just,
Spark said. If
or how about, then I took it a step further. I'm like, if there's no takedown in the match, you like,
and it's so
well,
bad for the
it
sport.
wouldn't work. Like it's just horrible. There's got to be something that, and then you see guys with win with no takedown, and they're like break in, and it's like, dude, you gotta score a takedown, and it's tough, Zach. You got the officials with the reaction time. You got crazy scrambling and leg passes and diving down on the ankle. So between that, but they raised the takedowns to 2 to 3 points. But did they really do any favors when
Which in
And
hindsight has had no impact. Can I just say that? I feel like nothing's changed. You got to tweak the. Flo
yeah,
was talking about it. You can make a couple small tweaks to these rules, like really calling stalling. You combine that with you adjust the rankings to wins only. We have a whole new sport. A whole new sport there. Everyone's going out there every opportunity they have and throwing it up against the wall because that's what matters.
right, right. No, it's crazy. I mean, I can tell you right now, Mike Gray does not care about dual meets. He just doesn't care. And people can get as mad at me as they want for that, but I'm telling you right now, he doesn't care. And when he doesn't care, the fans don't care. I don't care about dual meets anymore that Cornell's in. I go for individual matchups, and that's not a good like
Well, think
thing to
about
get
it.
going.
And you even said formerly on the show, you canceled your season tickets. If a coach is not
Yeah.
incentivized to win these dual meets, a fan is not inspired to go watch those dual meets, the school's not bringing in money through that program, the system is broke. You got to change that
The rest,
original
yeah.
incentive. Like, there needs to be
If you're
incentive to
coach,
win dual
yeah.
meets. Coach Gray should care about winning every dual meet, but really no one cares. Like Penn State probably and Iowa, like they care, but
Well, Zach, I got into a huge argument with someone. I know this is hard to believe, but on X, this was at like around the holidays, and because I was giving Cornell some crap about the duels and stuff, and he was like, "You know what? All Gray needs to worry about and care about is winning the Ivies and performing at NCAA's." Well, guess what? Didn't win the Ivies this year, did they? When you stop caring about dual meets, things like that happen. Now they can't control Christian Hansen blowing his knee out, right? But Greg Diakomahalis being up 7-2 and getting stuck, things like that. Columbia went there and they cared. And you know what? I honestly felt happy for their fans. Their fans in the stands, they made the trip to Cornell. They were so pumped, as they should be.
yeah.
And when you start not caring about dual meets, it's hard to go, okay, do we care about this one? You know? And it's just, and then the wrestlers stop caring. The coach doesn't care, the fans don't care, the wrestlers don't care. You gotta, this is not right, man.
Jim
You
Biskins in
can't
the
be just,
comments. I don't know if that's Coy Biskin's dad or something. Without
yes.
good duels, we have nothing. Yes, the whole sport turns into what NCAA basketball is. A weekend sport is the tournament. One weekend a year, we get good wrestling, and it's our sport. Now, we got to change that. That's bad
Yeah,
for our sport. That's not how you grow it.
and Zach, that's kind of how I feel about college football. Like college football, the thing they had going for them is every week mattered, right? Like you didn't want to lose.
Yep.
but then they just start expanding and expanding and expanding this playoff bracket, right? Um, and we just need people can just show up at the conference tournament,
Well, it's funny because
not
football
wrestling
kept
any matches.
expanding because they just kept making more and more and more money. We ain't even making no money. And we don't have to do anything crazy like expanding. We got to tweak a rule here or there and tweak the rankings, and we would have an entirely different sport that people are incentivized to participate. Coaches are incentivized to win dual meets. Wrestlers are incentivized to go out and wrestle and win dual meets. I don't think it takes much.
No, from what I've seen from Cornell, um, they care about NCAA's and then the freestyle, the art, the stuff going on in the freestyle. But then that other part of the year, it's just kind of like, I mean, look at this year. We got guys gray shirting all different reasons and stuff in the fall. But you know what that does for me? You saw how like I just want to see the guys, and finally December 20th, I'm like, finally, I get to see the guys. I can see Cornella and Meyer, and I understand there's some things where guys can't graduate, on time and or early because of the Ivy League, can't be a grad student wrestling. I get that. But it's extremely frustrating as a fan as you're seeing the season go on and your guys aren't even wrestling. And then when they do, it's like, the duels aren't really that big of a thing for them. I pray, I'm telling you right now, speaking of Koi's dad, Jim, there, NC State Cornell coming up. Please, please, Coach Gray, please wrestle Joy, Shapiro, and Ruiz. Cornella. Wrestle these guys. And Pat Pop, same thing. I believe he will. Wrestle these guys. Let's do this, man, because there's great matchups in that.
We're begging you. Wrestle them, please. Before we get there, Penn State, their final dual meet going up against Princeton. You see the matchups on the screen there. Maybe a couple little testers, but not much really to mention. Then we have Nebraska. They have Utah Valley. That's their regular season finale. I'm still hearing myself in the voice. I feel like I'm slurring my speech because I just keep hearing myself. It's affecting me. Anyway. And then finally, here are my top 12 matchups. But, Kevin, a couple years that you just mentioned are included in there.
Yeah, there's, I think that Joy and Biskins is just going to be a fire matchup. Talk about two guys that aren't afraid to go out there and wrestle. They both have 20 wins or more. I mean, these guys go out and wrestle all the time. And they put it on the line, and that's why I believe that they'll go out and wrestle this match. And I believe these are two title contenders, and I'm really looking forward to the style matchup. And I'm more excited about that match than any of the matches coming up this week, to be honest with you. I think that's going to be a great one down at NC State. Simon Ruiz and Singleton, they had a back and forth last year, but then Ruiz really blew it open at NCAA's 10-0. But Ruiz has looked a little bit, he's not really blowing people out this year, but man, he's so good on top, Zach. Like he's just suffocating, that's where he gets people. What else we got here? We got,
how about Papa Biskins? By the way, what a good thing that we figured out how to say his name right, Kevin. Looks like Papa Biskins says the Wolfpack are going to be all in. They're all in.
Such a good guy, and he's told me how to pronounce the name, and I just felt like such a fool. But no, great guy. And I really appreciate, parents of good wrestlers that go out there, because it's got to be brutal. You go on Twitter, you go on podcasts, and you hear people just that have opinions of, your son and it's just, and I bet you they're all over the place, and they're scratching their heads sometimes going, what do these people know? But it takes a lot to go in and actually grind through, and that's awesome. So
that is awesome. Willie is short, says Zach's open bias towards Penn State gets him continually crushed on Madness. Okay, that is he misinterpreting? I'm not a Penn, because then Larry says verifies, clarifies. I am an Iowa fan. Maybe my bias against them, but we got one Penn final State, weekend. Penn
Yeah,
State snooze fest there
it's
in the
this
comments.
man,
Go
this
ahead.
season flies by, Um, flies by. I just want healthy people at NCAA, Zach. That's all I want. I want a healthy Ferrari, a healthy Brandon Cannon. Um, I just want everyone healthy and at their best. You gotta want that. You want the best wrestling possible, no matter what.
Yeah, I agree. And you want them incentivized to do that. But maybe I would take missing a couple matchups this weekend if it means we get them at Big Tens or conference championships and then NCAAs. So we're right around the corner, folks. I've been on my D minus game. It's barely passing tonight, Kevin. I hear myself. I'm irritated.
Zach,
This is
the
an
only reason your
irritated.
grade has been lowered is because you've told us about you hearing yourself so many times. That's the only thing that's lowered your grade.
Anyway, how about that? Papa Biskins. We should talk to him sometime, but I don't know.
Yeah,
Kevin,
that would be great.
I didn't even
Yeah,
have a chance to load up any other graphics. However, I'll say
don't worry
this.
about
I'll
it.
say this. Tomorrow, I will be attending my 6-year-old's Olympic Games at Gettysburg High School. It's from approximately 1:30 to 3 o'clock. He said, parent volunteers for the Olympics. I said, what is the original Olympic? Wrestling. Who talks about wrestling? Me. I said, I have to go, Kelly. I got to be there. But then it is possible. I don't know. We got the big dual meet tomorrow night. Join us live Saturday evening. We moved the open mat line show to Saturday evening. Everyone's busy on Friday nights. Sean's going on dates. Haven't even heard from Sean. He might be married by now for all we know. Hope to hear from him along with several other contacts. By the way, speaking of contacts, I forgot to read this. To start off the show, guy from Virginia Tech emailed me. Let me summarize this up. He appreciates us putting Virginia Tech in the spotlight. He's heard numerous times how the lineup will look next season. And although things can change, most are getting it incorrect. Kevin is a knowledgeable addition, but stated Henson will go 157, as many others are saying. This is not the current plan in Blacksburg. Currently, Eddie comes back one more year at 25. Sadell 33, Bo 41. His first season then likely moves up 2 years from now. Henson finishes career 49 next year. 57 could be Melvin or Guy. Moves up. 65 could be Melvin or Burton. I think you'll see a transfer 74 or DeSante or Burton. 84 likely a transfer. 97 Sasso. 285 Mullen. I just wanted to provide latest information. Bo at 41.
You know what? That's cool, man. I love when people know how to be a decent human being and express something in that way, rather than just saying, you're an idiot, or you don't know what you're talking. Like, how more of a respectful could that be? Like, this
I
is,
agree.
it's just that, yeah, that's cool, man. Hey, I still, so two big surprising things he said there, Bassett at 41
Yep.
and Henson at 49. That's that I still might be a little surprised if I see that.
I know.
I mean,
And I said, listen, I emailed back, said, you want to come on and talk about it? He said, hold the phone, hold up. He said, I could be wrong. Let me make sure. Let me see if I get this one right. I said, okay, fair enough. You get this one right. You keep sending us Virginia Tech info. Like, apparently, I thought there was palm trees, like warm year round down there. Apparently, that's not. It's not.
Zach, out of all the interviews we've done, and by the way, Zach has interviewed everyone. I don't think people even realize. I mean, the guys you've interviewed, it's an impressive
We've
list.
had some great
Um,
opportunities. Yeah.
And if I could just we could have the opportunity to do another one again, I would love to have Coach Roby on again because
Woo.
there's so many things that I feel like I didn't ask that I want to ask and I want to know,
I
starting with
agree.
what they do with recruiting and since then he gave up the kidney and do you remember how cool he was in an interview? We were picking picks.
Oh,
Like we
man.
were picking how his team would do in front of him. He was just sitting there like, this is great. I
Live,
mean, he
no
was such a good
warning.
sport about it.
He took it
Yeah.
with a grain of salt, laughed it off.
Yes.
Coach Roby, can't say enough.
Yeah.
And
He was awesome.
clearly he's, reflecting that on everyone else down there. But Jim Biskins just confirmed that's what he's also heard of Virginia Tech, Kevin. Breaking news, Hokie fans. Hot dog.
If you think about it, it makes sense
Yeah.
because remember I was talking last week and I was like, well, then, Melvin, I guess, has got to be 65. And, just kind of going through there. But just saying that lineup in your head, I've heard people lately on podcasts that are going through Virginia Tech lineup. Listen to this next year, and they don't even mention Henson. It's like they forgot. Like, like he's a bad dude, man.
With all
Henson's
the
a
freshmen
bad
coming
dude.
in, Kenson's, it's easy to forget. I feel like, I hate to say that, but we got a lot of new huge names in this sport out of nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be wild. And again, I hope that, these guys that we see coming in, the Seidel and Bassett and Jax and Blake, these guys are used to wrestling a ton of matches year round. They seem to like wrestling. They wrestle a lot. Most of them provide a really good amount of offense. I'm hoping that can take over and save us from going in the other direction. I want to see scoring. I want to see wrestling. It's important that we see that. And the officials, I'm not going to go on and on here, but the officials have a lot to do with this. Whatever it takes to get these guys on the same page, please do it because they have the ability to totally ruin wrestling. And the reason that is, I'm not saying that they are ruining it or they will, but they have the ability to because there's a couple of things that will. I'm really nervous about NCAA's this year. I'm really nervous about who's going to get screwed on. It was a takedown. It wasn't a takedown. And the one thing else, I know I'm blabbering here, but the top wrestling has to be called stalling. If you look at the rules, it specifically says that you have to work for a turn.
Mm-hmm.
And doing 25 mat returns in a period is not looking for a turn or driving the guy out of bounds over and over. It's not anything I want to watch, man. It just takes away from them wrestling on their feet. If a guy's good on top, I love watching it. I love watching a guy just oppose his will on someone because it's very rare. It's hard to do. It's rare. It's something I never could do. But man, refs, call stalling on top, man. If a guy can't turn someone, let's get them on their feet.
Well said. Could not agree more. That's what it starts with. You start calling stalling on top, and all of a sudden you get a lot more action. We mentioned it in the comments. Virginia Tech, where's Seidel? He's going to be at 33. That's where our contact reported. And, other people saying Bassett walks around 150. He could make 141. All of a sudden, this seemed like a very credible report. Credible contact / insider we might have down there in Hokie land.
If you think about it, Zach, Bassett wrestles 65 kilograms. That's 143 pounds, right? Henson just wrestled 70 kilograms, 154 pounds. So yeah, it makes sense. It's not that they're, it's just a couple pounds over for both of them, really.
How fun
is
that going to be?
It's been a fun team to watch, man. We got to get him in on an interview again. Let's do whatever it takes to make that happen.
Who was that? I think that was Clint that connected us with Coach Roby. Which, by the way, we're going to wrap this up. I got kids running around there asking, are you putting us to bed? It's bedtime. I know. We're running late, kids.
I know.
I'm running late all day. But Saturday, join us live Saturday evening. Open Mat Line show. Moving to there. And we got a special surprise for you. You're not going to want to regret it. Limited opportunities for you to win. I'll leave it at that. Kevin, thanks for joining us here on Late Notice. My dad, he's feeling a little in the blues. He got to go back to work. But he'll be back next week firing it up. How you close this out, man?
Guys, thanks, Zach. Great job. And if you haven't been watching the Saturday show, watch it. It's fun and be part of it. Zach does a great job, and it just gives everybody a chance to voice their opinion. And we're the only show that does that, so take advantage of it. But thanks a lot, everyone. Appreciate it, and so
We'll be
long.
back Saturday. In the meantime, you might find Kevin. He's going to be talking to Beyond the Mat Wrestling, right? Are you going to do a little preview with him?
Yeah.
It's going to be up on, I'm sure that'll be up on his Instagram, YouTube. He's been on the show before, Beyond the Mat Wrestling, folks. Kevin and Beyond the Mat Wrestling giving his Oklahoma State, Iowa preview. Go check them out. Go check them all out, all the
definitely check it out.
podcasts. All right. Let's wrap this up. See ya.
See ya.